Good morning. I wanted to make this video for you so if you're not in class you could better understand the slides. So let me get this started. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss about our research project, and that includes a presentation and a paper, and it's the largest portion of your grade. And then it also includes just some general information about racial profiling and counter-argument, concession, and we also talk about a little bit about Whistling Vivaldi, the chapters 5 through 9. So, and here's all of those items. I do also show a demo about our foothill databases. So racial profiling is a discriminatory practice. It is done typically by law enforcement officials or their agents. What I mean by agents are anyone who has authority to call the police or to bring action against someone. So in the case of Trayvon Martin, when George Zimmerman acted as a neighborhood watch person. It could also be like a store manager or anyone who has authority over someone else. And this is targeting someone based on suspicion of a crime, but fully based on just either race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin, that they somehow feel like because of those things, this person is engaging in that behavior. This is different than criminal profiling. Criminal profiling is a process that police use. It's sometimes also called offender profiling, and it is a way when police officers get information about a crime in progress or something like that, and they'll have maybe some identifying information about that person, their gender, their ethnicity, their size, what they were wearing, where they were going, what kind of car they were driving. And then this information would then be given to police, and they can look out for a person who matches that description. There's also criminal profiling used by psychologists to predict and to try to get a sense of crimes. This often happens with school shooters or criminal or serial killers. The criminal profiling, there's also criminal profiling with around terrorism as well, but this is more predictive based on psychological analysis, and sometimes that does include race in those as well. So types of racial profiling. These are the types that we are going to start from and that I'm going to ask you to choose. And then that will be your overarching kind of focus of your paper. And then within that, you're going to be able to talk about a variety of things. So racial profiling that happens on the streets or walking in neighborhoods. I would also say in someone's home if you wanted to focus on that, because we've had those situations as well. Near U.S. borders, any kind of profiling that is regarding immigration or around DACA students. Also, while in a car, while driving, there's a whole separate set of research around that. They call it driving while brown or driving while black. In airports, and this is typically our Middle Eastern friends that impacts, or people who are perceived to be Middle Eastern, and so they will get asked and subjected to different things. This one typically doesn't end up in death like these other areas where people are more apt to have guns, but there are some concerns about the treatment of people in airports. Also in stores while shopping, this has also been fatal, as well as just inconvenient and discriminatory. And then also at schools, and what I mean by this is like high schools, and the high schools hire resource officers. There's a disparity in the level of training and the process of reporting for resource officers, so it impacts students differently depending upon where they live. And finally, profiling and mental illness. This one can conflate with race, and often does, and it actually, racial profiling over time can create emotional instability in people. So there's that angle as well. So these are a variety to choose from, and whatever you're drawn to, I'd like you to kind of look into. So in class, we are going to have you review your experiences. So you want to really think and write out and brainstorm all the experiences you've ever had with cops, but also with just law in general. Maybe you have friends or family involved, and like maybe someone's an attorney that you know, or a probation officer, or maybe you know someone that committed a crime that had to go to jail. In my own life, I have two brother-in-laws that are both involved in, one was a warden of a prison. He's worked his way up and he is retired now. And the other one was a probation, head of probation at a police department that was really small and rural, and way far northern California. So most of his experiences were all about like, drug, like looking for pot farms and things like that. So it was pretty low key, not a lot of crime. And then I've also had a nephew and a niece from different sisters who, one was a meth addict and has gone through that system and has been incarcerated, and then the other one had a federal drug charge as well, so has spent time in federal prison. So I've seen both sides of this, so that's my own experience with it. So here's the prompt. You're looking around 8 pages, 2,000 words, that general area. One aspect of racial profiling, 5 to 8 sources, and you're going to find a case that you're going to dig into in a little more detail, and that case is going to be your research presentation. As far as the research paper, that case is only going to be like either a subtopic or a hook in your research, or an example. Okay. Your paper should also focus on alternatives for racial profiling and recommendations for positive change. So looking at police departments that are doing a good job with something, looking at solutions. So for the research presentation, which is going to be next week, you're going to give everyone's going to give a quick individual presentation, 5 minutes max, with 4 to 5 slides, a cover slide, an overview of the case, any opposing opinions, like basically what does the law enforcement say, what do witnesses say, that kind of thing, if any. Consequences for all parties, what happened? Did someone go to jail? Did someone get killed? Did someone have a legal case brought against them? Was there a financial settlement? Was there a change in the law? And what point maybe will this case help you prove towards your assignment? And also maybe what did you find most compelling about the case? The guidelines, it's 20 points, 4 to 5 slides. Try to be error-free in your wording. I want minimum writing on the slides, just small bullets, and a photo or a picture on each slide. You can write everything down you're going to say on note cards, or if you're using PowerPoint in the notes section. And then try to use really balanced images. So note, like if you're talking about someone dying, don't use cartoons, so things like that. So for Whistling Vivaldi, you're going to be assigned a chapter, and for that chapter, you're going to be looking just at things that would be scanning for things that would be helpful for your for any of these papers if someone were to do this paper. So I'll assign that later. So the research paper process, you choose a topic, you watch some videos, and read initial sources. I'm going to give you a handout with a bunch of sources, but you're going to look for some more. Write an annotated bibliography, which I'm going to talk about later, and then write a topic outline and working thesis. Then you're going to write more detailed thesis, insert your quotes into an outline, and then you're going to do a peer review and proofread it and do a final one. And you can see what the points that are involved with this. It's also weighted more than the other papers in the class. So here's a video I'd like you to watch. It's a Frontline video called Policing the Police. Jelani Cobb, who was also in the other video you saw, 13th, narrates this, and he did some investigative reporting about a police department. And I think it works well to kind of understand some of the racial profiling issues that come up in police departments. So it's a good one you can use in your paper, and you should take notes on. So 2 content things, concession and counter argument, I'm going to get to in just a second in a second video. Okay.